Welcome to Organic Avenue. Hi, I'm Vanessa.
Hi, I'm Karsten. Welcome to Veganic Avenue. Yes, we did all right.
So in this video, we decided that it would be helpful possibly for new vegans or ones that might be struggling to kind of know what our biggest struggles were in the beginning. So we've each come up with the 5 top challenges that we experienced when we first started
transitioning.
There you go. What we want to focus on with it is what helped us through those challenges so we can help maybe someone out there feel a little bit more empowered in their decision to move forward. So here we go.
So my first challenge really was the sheer shock to my body. So I was freaking out about what's going on. My body's ripping itself apart inside. There's no more meat. What are you doing? We've been working really hard to digest this for years, and when you eat meat, you are taking in all the adrenaline. All that is transferred to you at an energetic level when you eat meat. So once that kind of made sense to me, I was like, all right, my body's just detoxing from the fact that I was used to getting this stimulation or this process of adrenaline.
So my first challenge I'd like to talk about was kind of I guess having no support. Nobody I knew was vegan. Nobody I knew understood veganism. I didn't understand veganism. When I made the transition, it was all at once and immediate. I didn't turn back. But I had people fighting me on it. Family would try and catch me being a hypocrite. They would question me about it, like I was making the wrong decision. They would make fun of me, kind of in a way, basically just making me feel really unwelcome and uncomfortable in my decision. Like they didn't understand it, so it had to be wrong type thing. So I felt really alienated and alone. But what helped me with that was basically doing my research, so that way if someone came at me with a question, I'd have my answer that felt true to me. I definitely made it a point to not take it personally, because I knew it wasn't about me. I knew it was that the idea of my being vegan made them uncomfortable. In my research, I also developed my why. I firmly believe that developing your why are you vegan? Why did you make this choice? Having that why statement is going to power you through any backlash you're going to get from anybody. It's going to power you through any temptations you might have. It's going to power you through any points of weaknesses. That why is going to be your best friend through this transition and throughout the journey, since it is a lifestyle change. It's not only your diet that changes when you go vegan. It changed my whole life. And I still have resistance in that. I'm the bad guy because I adopted this extreme lifestyle of healthy, plant-based nutrition that fuels bodies rather than destroys them. So basically, do your research and it won't be a problem. They'll shut the fuck up.
Dun, 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 dun. So the second challenge I really faced was in my social network of my family, and just the craziness that it implied of me going rogue, man. My whole family, we eventually got everybody on board with being paleo. So once I went vegan, which was you got like two schools of thought once you're at some level of like really sophisticated health. One is like paleo, one is vegan, and they're kind of diametrically opposed with the fact of it's meat or no meat. And one says you got to have meat to get your omegas and all these nutrients, and if you don't have that, then you can't get them. And I was the black sheep. My family didn't, on the most part, there was like, you can't do that. Your whole family's just been paleo. It was half joking, half serious. It's like in every joke there's a nugget of truth, because that's what they really feel, but they don't want to say it seriously to you. So that was hard to just come to terms with and really just be adamant that, hey, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna find the omega-3s in other places, because they're there. They're in algae foods that aren't looked at. So that was a big challenge that I really had to face and get through. What helped me with that process was developing ideas within myself to the rebuttal of the questions that you can't get this, you can't do this, that, this idea like, well, where are you going to get the most important fatty acids for your brain that paleo is huge on, which is the EPA and DHA. Arming myself with more nutritional knowledge and taking that back to my family if they're really interested, but not being too serious of like, hey, it's still my life. Like, yeah, we connect about food usually, but it did give me a distancing from my family, but I just saw it as, this is my choice now, and it might take time for them to actually accept that. And get out of here.
My turn.
All right,
My
I see it.
turn. Shoot. My second biggest challenge with the transition was feeling alone. I basically knew nobody that followed this lifestyle. But what helped me in that was finding the community. So there's tons of groups on Facebook you can find locally to find potential vegan friends that can meet up. I remember meeting up with a lot of girls that were having like lunches on the weekends, and they were all vegans, and we were trying vegan friendly restaurants, and that was a huge lifesaver. I met a lot of amazing people, and it just kind of avalanched after that. There's meetup.com where there's a lot of potential picnics and potlucks and different ways to meet other vegans. Also, what helped me was finding the vegan community on YouTube. There are a ton of people here on YouTube that are in this lifestyle, and they're making it work, and it makes sense. So definitely seeing them thriving in that lifestyle gave me hope that I could too. So it's definitely important to find community and surround yourself with like-minded people, and that is that.
Hey, where are you going to get your protein at? I can't tell you how many times as a vegan you're going to get this question. This question is unbelievable. If you look at all the foods that are out there, there's a great documentary called Forks Over Knives if you need help. But there's foods everywhere that have protein. We've just been brainwashed to think only meat has proteins. There's protein out there in broccoli, in all these greens, in kale, in cabbage. It's there. Look it up. It's okay. We're not going to die because we're protein deficient. Actually, we get better balance between our 3 macronutrients. So overprotein can even hurt bodybuilders too. So when they're, everybody's just talking about protein, I got to get more protein. There's other videos that point out the fact that you can get better muscle gains with more of a ratio of like 33% carb, fat, and protein.
My third challenge that I'll mention is not knowing what the heck to eat when I went vegan. I knew nothing about it, so basically all I ate was your basic salad, fruit, and vegetables. I knew nothing about what to eat, and it was intimidating. And if your why isn't strong enough, then you will fail because you want the convenience, you want it to be easy, you want it to be cost effective, you want all these things that are going to work with your lifestyle, and finding out new ways to cook isn't always the easiest thing when you're a busy person. As a busy mother of two, I found it pretty freaking impossible to go, yes, I'm going to research this whole new lifestyle and have it down quickly. It took me a while, but I ate what I could eat, what I knew I could eat, until I figured out the rest. So trying one new recipe a week was really helpful to build up the repertoire of easy go-to weeknight meals that'll work in your budget as well. Trying the more extravagant new recipes on the weekend also helps with the whole time issue. Making larger quantities of a dish, such as this like black bean cauliflower chili we did once. It was delicious. We need to do that again, by the way. But you can make a large batch of it and have it throughout the week for lunches or whatever. It's just about preparing. But the idea is to not get overwhelmed. That's what helped me, was not getting overwhelmed with all the new stuff, taking it slowly, trying one new thing at a time. That's all you can do. Take it easy on yourself, and it'll come as it can. Hey, Minnie. We found some really good recipes, though, and found some really fantastic ways to veganize a lot of our old favorites.
Absolutely.
I.e. tater tot casserole.
Yeah, that one's pretty much.
And it is a crowd pleaser at parties.
Yes.
Just gonna say that. And sweet potato casserole, basically any casserole.
Fourth challenge was just the realization of how normalized I was to the fact of killing an animal and taking it as just, this is what I need to do, and how that was not a big deal to me. So what really put me in touch with this was I went to a organic farm and had to field dress a bird, which means the bird's alive, you kill the bird, you... Hi, Sissa. Come on. Meow, 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 meow. You field dress a bird by, here we go, grabbing the bird, pulling its head off, watching it shake in your hand, washing it off in water, then you rip all the feathers and skin off, you peel it off like it's a coat, then you break the wings, and this process is just brutal. To crack a bone and listen to the cartilage crumple in your hand is like, whew, that's not normal feeling. Like, go do this process where you have to be in touch and watch, this animal turn into your dinner. And I would seriously doubt if you wanted to eat chicken again. If you had to do it, it's very hard to just do. So that's my biggest question for people when they're like, well, it's no big deal to eat meat. Like, you go do it. Go kill the animal. Go live through that process and get it from farm to table, and realize if you agree with that process or not. So experience those and really feel whether that's true to you.
My fourth challenge was feeling really angry at humanity. The more research I did, the more mad I got at the idea that our norms that society gives us is based off of greed from the man. It angered me, and I was also mad at myself for not knowing any better for so long, and I basically had to forgive myself daily for a long time. I had to be easy with myself to understand that I didn't know what I didn't know until I knew it. And there's really no point in being so angry with yourself about a decision you didn't know any better to make. That makes no sense. I didn't know any better. And it was also the people I was around. You're influenced by the 5 closest people you have in your life. So that was what I thought was normal. And I can't beat myself up about that. So I also had to learn to forgive others for judging me and for not knowing what they don't know yet. They ask questions, I answer them the best I know, and just encourage them to do their own research. I always encourage people to watch Earthlings, Forks Over Knives, and Cowspiracy. It explains all 3 areas of veganism, and as a new vegan, I would strongly suggest watching all 3 of these. Forks Over Knives is going to be based off of health and nutrition. Cowspiracy is going to be based on environmental factors, and Earthlings is a tough one. It's based on the ethical side of it. It was very hard to sit down and watch. Karsten and I sat down and agreed that we would watch the entire thing from start to finish, no matter what. We basically watched the whole thing, bawling our eyes out and just holding each other because we were devastated at what we were watching. It's hard. It's hard to watch. If you can't watch it, then that's telling you something, that it's not right. It developed my why so much. It is my strong foundation in this. And whenever I am tempted by a cupcake that's sitting there at the office or a donut, and I know it has dairy and I know it has eggs in it, my mind takes me to a visual memory of what I saw. And that is enough for me to go, nope. There are huge recommendations from me to help you.
My final challenge, number 5, is dealing with good friends that you know that want to hear you talk about vegan, and it's like there's some disconnect that you just have to accept that maybe they're not ever going to be ready, or what you see, like, how is this person going to be ready? Do I push them? Do I not? These type of questions come within you of like, okay, it sounds like you hear me, but you don't really understand, because true understanding means action. And a lot of people will be like, yeah, sounds good. I'm about to eat my sushi. And they just gloss it over like, hey, good job. I'm glad you're doing that. I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do. Like, if they really hear you, then they're going to actually do something. And that's really hard to separate, like, and come to terms with, of they're going to, be agreeing and nodding their head like, good for you. And it's so weird when it's like, you're having good talk and good this, and it's just like, but why don't you care enough? You feel that lack of like authenticity to do the hard work part. So coming to terms with that people are gonna be posers, basically, to be on the fence for too long, maybe from what you expect of how fast you want change within the world and how much it can upset you, and still being just not a mean person. Like, yeah, you can be mean in a way to get a message out, but if you're too hateful to people, then it's not going to come across and it's not going to inspire true change. So being the messenger to say, check out this info, do your research, develop your why, like she's been saying, that's such a huge thing to say, to ground you in the idea of why it's so important to you and why you want to share it with people, and that you have value in sharing your experience. So do share and love what you're doing.
Share the love. I basically answer questions if I'm asked about veganism or what I eat or whatever it is, but I try not to like ram it down people's throats, because even when I'm asked and I answer, then I'm still the vegan that's always talking about being vegan, and I'm like, dude, bro, you asked. Like,
true.
The most important thing that I've seen to be effective is leading by example. I am by no means the healthiest person in the world, really, or even in the room. But I'm trying, and people are going to see that eventually. My kids are going to see that eventually, and hopefully it pays off for them, but it's definitely going to pay off for me, so that's what I try and focus on. So my final challenge that I wanted to bring up is deficiencies that I have experienced and been fearful of. Basically, you run into that time where you're going to feel really tired and have low energy. You're going to have hormone changes such as acne. I say you, but I mean me. You may too, but I'm talking about myself. I experienced lots of low energy. I experienced hair loss. I experienced hormone changes and acne. All of these things are due to some type of deficiency that I've had throughout my being a vegan. Had to have my blood drawn for an overall panel to see where I was in my levels, try and alter it in some way, and then come back and do it again. I did that for several months in the beginning just to make sure I was doing what I needed to be doing. Because I lost so much weight in the beginning, I lost about 60 pounds in maybe a matter of 3 or 4 months. And from my research, I realized that it can cause hair loss. And so my hair's gotten thin. And so we've been trying to research ways to help that. I will take all the time I need to make sure that I'm the healthiest that I can be, and that I have the energy, that I'm getting the right nutrients that I need, all of my macronutrients, all of my micronutrients. A great way to track these in the beginning, if you're concerned with it, is chronometer.com. They also have an app you can use as well. Doing all your research is going to really help. Making sure you're getting your zinc, your B12, your iron, your protein is important as far as your hair loss goes. B12 is really important. Usually it's wise to supplement it. But iron you definitely want to intake with vitamin C, because the vitamin C is going to help you absorb the iron. But you get those from specific foods that you can research. These are all very important things to continually look into and develop. So my encouragement is basically don't give up, keep going, research, research, research.
I like this format. Would you like to do it again?
I would like to do it again. Do you want to see it again?
Let us know.
In the comments below. If you have any ideas of anything else you'd like to see from us, please let us know as well. Well, this was fun. We really enjoyed sharing our experiences with you. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments below. Give this video a like if it was helpful at all, and to just support our channel. It's really important for other people to see it as well. So share if you feel so compelled to. Also subscribe if you have not already, because we'd love to continuously see you and grow our YouTube family. So thank you for joining us. We can't wait to see you again in our new videos.
Yeah.
Shoot now, hell now.